Hi everyone and welcome to my place. This is sort of kind of the beginnings of what we are going to do today. I have a beautiful urn here. I've put some foam into the base, into the cavity of my urn. I've put some moss on top of that. I've got a couple of little bits of ivy here, and I've got these lovely fruit branches. Now this is a design that is going to go on and on and on for weeks and weeks to come, because it's spring here at Astar's place. Well, it's spring on the southern hemisphere, and I'm as far south, almost to the North Pole, South Pole as you can get. But spring has finally come, and it's fantastic. Now, I picked when I did the pruning of my trees a couple of weeks ago, I kept these, and the reason why I've started this concept is because I wanted to share with you how easy it is to have something that goes on and on. Now I've just brought this inside, and very, very soon, with the warmth inside my house, the blossom from this pear tree is going to start to burst forth. So as a concept design that's going to keep going, this is fantastic, because I could leave it as it is with nothing on and just enjoy the blossom when it comes, and then the leaves will come and then they drop off and make a terrible mess everywhere with the blossom, etc., etc. But I've got a function coming up, and my friend wanted me to make her the Victorian floral or little Tussie Mussies into the flower cones. So this it might sound a bit messy, but it's going to all come right very soon. So the reason I want to do the cones is because one of our viewers, Mr. Matrix, who lives somewhere in the world, said to me, "Oh, Astar, show us all how to make Tussie Mussies or little nosegays." So that's the reason why I've got the little cones, because this is what the Victorians used to do, and it was called a Victorian floral cone, and they used to put their little nosegays, or by the wee nosegays, it might have been little bunch of violets or hyacinths or whatever, or little bunches of blossom, and they would put them into these, and you would see people would buy them and they would take them to their sweetheart, which I think is such a beautiful story. And these, once you get into making these, I tell you what, the world's your oyster, because there's lots of things that you can do with them. Okay, so to make the crowns, the first thing you need to do is to get some stock card in a pattern to suit whatever you want to do. I've got a big plate. Now, the size of the cone is going to be determined by the size of your plate to start with, but I'm just using a dinner plate here. Go around the edges of that to get your round, and then it's just a matter of cutting around there. If you had those deckle edge scissors, they would be fantastic for this, because instead of having that plain shape, you could have a nice little deckly edge to your around that exterior of your cone when you bring it all together. I should have had this all done, but never mind. I'm very excited about this, and I know it might sound messy, but it won't be at the end of the day. Now fold that in half. I'll go this way, like so. This is going to make this size little cone with the dinner plate cut in half. Okay, so once you get to there, cut that in half again. And then you're going to need some string and some staples, or a glue gun, or double-sided sellotape. Right, from there, it's just a matter of going like that, and then bringing that around to there like so, and just winding that into your cone shape. You just have to fiddle around with it just for a wee minute until you've got that all closed up at this side there, and then it's just a matter of putting a little staple on either side. Now, to get put your little hanger into it, all I'm going to do is to use this. I don't know where my other one is, but then just put a little hole into there, getting some string or some ribbon, whatever you've got. And then that is just a matter of pushing that through there. And of course I haven't got my glasses on, so I'm going to have to, yes I can. I can go by feel, which is quite good. So that can just come up to there like that, and then just pull that through. And if you've got a special event coming up, you could get all this done ways in advance. So there's your little cone shape, and this is just a little bit bigger, because if I went the other way, hold on, which way? There's a way that you do this. The other way that I know that you can do this is to do that and then just bring that around to there and then bring it around like that, and that'll make it a bit smaller than going the other way, which I did with this. But whatever shape that you want is how, is. So if you want it to be a little bit smaller, go that way, or else go that way. So you have to go back to see how I did that. But pretty much that's how it is. And then I'll just put that into there like that. And then the next thing is to put these all together. I just want to do one more of these because I'm going to need them. And the number of it's entirely over to you as to how many of these little you want to make to put onto your tree, but I figured that if you're going to do it, you might as well put quite a few on. And I'll just tie that off there like that and put that onto my tree. Right, now give me a moment to strike all of this, and as per Mr. Matrix's request, I'm going to show you how to do little nosegays or little tussie mussies or gatherings of little flowers to put into these to display them. So nice. I'll be back in a moment. Right, I've gathered my flowers together and I'll now show you what a little tussie mussie actually is at the end of the day. Taking a little flower, and as a little girl, my nan showed me how to use these, and she used to say it's a little nosegay, or sometimes if it was a bit bigger, she would say to me, it's a little tussie mussie. And a little nosegay used to be covered with little leaves around the edge of it before it was tied and bound, and it was usually about that big, of just little wee baby flowers. A tussie mussie is a little bit bigger, and that usually had like a little fabric, like those little things that you get on plates, you put on plates, like the little sort of like lacy papery things that you put on plates, or it could have been a lace handkerchief or something that went around it and was bound with some ribbon. But for today, this is what we will do. So I'm just going to gather all of my flowers, and don't forget that everything that I'm doing now has got to go into my little crown, so I've got to be careful, and also my little cone, and it's strong, but it's not seriously strong, so anything that I use now I'm just going to have to be very careful with. And I might just put a little freesia into there like so, and put a bit of this into here, and then strip all that foliage off, and then that can just go into there like that. So it's just pretty much, it's just a little gathering of all the little flowers that you've got on hand. And then you can either use a little bit of a rubber band or a little bit of tie. I'll just use a bit of tie here to tie and bind those like so. And if I had some nice little leaves, I'd use those, but I think that for right now, this is all that we need to do. And if you're going to be putting them into the cones, just be very aware of how much stem you're going to add or leave, and how many flowers you're going to incorporate to fit into your little cone. Right, that can go to there like that. And then the next thing that I do is, you can either use one of these, which are the little vases that come on the ends of orchids, or you can put roses and things into them. And I'll just fill that up with a little bit of water. But what I discovered with these is that little plastic thing there, you have to put your flower into that like so, and if it's too thin then that won't stay in there, but if it's something like that there, often you will find that it's quite difficult to get that down into there without breaking the fibres of the little stem. So that's one way that you could do it, and then they can just be placed into there like so. Or this is the way that I like to do it, because I know that they're going to last. So it's just getting a little bit of wet cotton or a makeup remover pad, putting that around the edge like so. This is what we used to do when I was a wee girl. Put that onto there, and then getting a little bit of tin foil. This is what I reckon tin foil is the best for. Putting that into there, and then folding that like so, squishing that like that, and then just tightly binding that together like so, and then that can just be plopped into there like that. Now I know that it's on the lean, but never mind. I know that will last much longer than putting them into the water, and pretty much for a design like this you don't want it to be lasting too long anyway, and like by using the tin foil, I reckon that's like the best thing to be closing everything up. Now the other thing I wanted to tell you about is, and I might have mentioned this before, I really love Tweedia, and it's just such a perfect lovely blue, pale powdery blue flower with your spring flowers at this time of the year. Now well, actually, just let's not even go into nonsense. Let me just get into this. This here has, and I'll just do that, and you will see, can you see that there? That sap, that sort of latexy stuff coming out of there? I need you to know that should you have a sensitivity to different types of well, actually, it's sort of like it can be quite poisonous to people. Now, that can cause the worst kind of skin allergy and rash that you could ever imagine, and it itches and it itches and it itches. Whenever I use anything like Tweedia, I always wear rubber gloves, and when I'm cutting it to condition it, I always cut it under running water, cool running water on the slant, and then put that into its own separate little water container until the saps, it's like reseals itself, and then change the water when the sap stops running out. So I just thought that while it was here, I might as well just give you that wee safety tip. So there we have, and I will finish this and show you it when we do the final hero shot at the end. But it's a really lovely way. And imagine, like, let's just talk about this for a wee minute. Imagine somebody giving you one of those. Isn't that just so cute? I love it. So perhaps you could teach the kids how to make the cones, and then when they're going to grandma's or they're going to visit somebody, they could take a little cone of flowers. I hope you've enjoyed this. I've enjoyed sharing it with you, and I'll see you again another day.